Hi everyone, Miss Christine here from the Hollowbrook Branch, and I'd like to welcome you to another STEM video. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about the color green. March is a fun time to talk about the color green because we see a lot of green in March. There's St. Patrick's Day and also the beginning of spring when we start to see a lot more green and a lot less gray outside. Now green is made from two primary colors. Do you know what colors we mix together to make green? Blue and yellow, that's right. So let's do it now. I have some blue and yellow paint here. So let's start with blue. And then we are going to add a little bit of yellow. And there we have green. And you can change the shade of green by adding more blue or more yellow. So if I add a little more yellow, it becomes more of a yellowish green, more of a springy color. Do a little bit more. But then if we add more blue, it becomes a darker, more like a teal green. Now, I am going to show you 3 ways that you can make the color green at home. One is using water, one is using ice cubes, and one is using pennies. Let's get started. Our first project today is very simple and very fun, and what we are going to be doing is just making some colored ice cubes that we're going to allow to melt together. So all you need for this are some water, 2 small cups, or you can use an ice cube tray, and blue and yellow food coloring. So all we have to do is pour a little bit of water into each cup, and then in 1 cup you want to put a couple of drops of yellow food coloring. In the other, a couple drops of blue food coloring. You can mix those up. And then you want to put these in the freezer and leave them there until they're frozen solid. And then I'll show you what that looks like once it's all done. And so here I have my 2 ice cubes that I froze and just recently pulled out of the freezer, and you can see how as they melt and the liquid mixes together, it looks green. And these would be fun to play with all different colors, and you can see how lots of different colors mix together, not just make green. Okay, for our next experiment, we are also going to need 2 cups with some water and some food coloring. So here I have some water with blue food coloring, and here I have some water with yellow food coloring. And then the only other thing you need for this is a paper towel. So what you're gonna do is fold up your paper towel like so, and you might need to trim a little bit off the ends if it's really long because you don't want it sticking up too high. But we are going to put the ends into our cups. And you can watch as the liquid travels up the paper towel. It travels up the little spaces in the paper towel. This is something called capillary action, and it's also how plants get water from the ground. It travels up through the plants using capillary action. And you can leave this for a little while, and eventually you'll see the colors start to come together, and you can guess what's going to happen when the blue and yellow meet. We'll just wait a few minutes and see what happens. Okay, here we are. This has been sitting for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and we can start to see the green in the middle, right in between the blue and the yellow. And again, you can try this at home with other colors and see how they travel and how they mix together. Okay, for our last experiment, we are going to see if we can turn some pennies green. So what you'll need here is a shallow bowl or dish, a paper towel, some pennies, and some white vinegar. So what you're going to do is just line your bowl with your paper towel like so. Place your pennies in there. And then pour on a little bit of vinegar so that your paper towel is nice and soaked. And that way it'll stay damp for a while. And then what you're going to want to do is just leave this for a while, maybe even overnight. If you think of it while it's sitting, you might want to come back and put on a little fresh vinegar if it gets dried out. And if it's taking a very long time, you could try sprinkling on a little bit of salt. Sometimes that helps. But if you leave this for a while, you will see your pennies start to get a slightly different color to them. And here's what my pennies looked like after sitting overnight. Can you see that green color to them? This one especially has a lot of green on it. Forgive the green on my fingers, that's from all of our experiments. So you're probably wondering why our pennies turned green when they sat in that vinegar. And that is because a chemical reaction occurred. Pennies are made out of copper. And when we put the vinegar, the acidic vinegar, on the penny, it helps the copper react with the oxygen in the air, and it forms this green substance which is called malachite. And this is why the Statue of Liberty looks green. She is actually made out of copper, and she was originally shiny like a penny, but over the years she has gradually turned green because a chemical reaction occurred. So those are our experiments for today. We have our green pennies, we have our melting ice cubes, got a lot of green in there now, and we have our traveling water. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.